to the volume of submissions coming in, but we do beg that we should endeavor to engage with you on the main issues that you wish this committee to take into consideration. Mr. Wai, you are guided to proceed.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. As guided, I will go directly to the substantive submissions, but I must, even under a sentence, preamble my submission with the need for us to further our democracy. And any constitutional reforms or amendments must be with a view to furthering our democracy and not compromising our democracy. I'll confine myself, Chairperson, and thank you so much for allowing me to be here, to possibly 6 clauses in the proposed act or in the bill. The first one, Chairperson, is Article 4 of the bill, which seeks to amend Article 52(6)(b) of the Constitution. And this, Chairperson, is about the resignation of a nominated candidate. That's 2.1 of my submission. I provided a submission on Wednesday, but updated it, which I shared with the staff of the National Assembly. I hope they have circulated that. Chairperson, I fully support the amendment to the clause, as it can be abused by at any elective level, at presidential, parliamentary, or local government level. However, I think that there is need for us to interrogate the definition of resign. This can be at 2 levels. An independent member of parliament can withdraw their nomination. So we are saying they are resigning from contesting, from the race. But also we can have a nominated candidate who belongs to a political party. And if that candidate decides to withdraw from the race, they withdraw their nomination, it means that if we proceed with the election, we are disadvantaging the political party that sponsored them. So, in my view, what we need to really do is to provide for 2 clauses, one looking at an independent member of parliament, because they are not representing anybody, they are representing themselves, and one looking at a candidate, a nominated candidate who is representing a political party, so that we do not disadvantage any of the political parties in terms of participation. I go, Chairperson, to the next item, Articles 5 and 9 of the bill. These seek to repeal and replace Article 57 and amend Article 72 of the Constitution. Chairperson, these of course relate to the issue of by-elections and vacation of office as Member of Parliament and dissolution of a political party respectively. The proposed repeal and replacement of Article 57 and deletion and replacement of Clause 72(8) presuppose that when citizens elect members of Parliament, they elect political parties. While this could be true to some extent, it's not always the case, and that is why we have members of Parliament that are independent, because they were not adopted by their parties, but because they were popular, they won the elections. They beat those that were adopted by political parties. The proposed deletion and submission of Clause 72(8) would work if the whole electoral system was based on proportional representation, where parties would have their lists and voters would vote for political parties. This is the case in some countries. I know Namibia, for instance. So you have party lists, and when people are voting, they are voting for a political party. In the event that the person that is representing that constituency vacates for whatever reason, could be through death or whatever, then you just go to the party list and say, okay, this is the person that was next. So it's an issue of a political party. Members of parliament are elected after an adoption by their political parties. That's one level. Yes, it's good. You can maintain that stability in terms of party representation in parliament. But when your candidate was first elected as a party, you maintain that seat until the end of the life of that parliament. It's good, all right? But the question is not as simple as that. Are people, I'm asking the question again, are people electing a political party or are they electing a person? It's mixed, all right? So on the basis of that, Chairperson, I would want to propose that costly though they may be, by-elections should still be maintained when a vacancy is created in the National Assembly. Let the people be given an opportunity to decide on the replacement representative. Let's not impose representatives on the people. I move, Chairperson, to Article 7 of the bill, which seeks to repeal the replacement of Article 58 of the Constitution, and this is composition of National Assembly. Chairperson, the proposed amendment will increase the total number of seats in the National Assembly by 56%, and the total number of constituency-based seats by 35%. By estimation from the rough figures that I have, this is likely to cost not less than 600 million kwacha, which will translate to about $50 to $25 million. This estimate does not include the possible increase in the number of staff to support the increase in the number of members of parliament. I'm not opposed to delimitation. I'm also not opposed to the affirmative action that increases the number of women, youth, and persons with disabilities in the institutions of governance. However, I think that given our shrinking fiscal space, which led to, among other measures, negotiating and restructuring our national debt, we might need to rethink that. If the benefits of increasing the size of the National Assembly outweigh the estimated costs alluded above, I have no problem with the proposed amendment. Let me emphasize, Chairperson, that my argument here is purely premised on economic reasoning than anything else. I will not be surprised if in the next 5 years the government will not go out there and contract a loan of $25 million to finance a 5-year development project. I've been in the development space for many years and I know what it means. Notwithstanding the foregoing, I think that there is need for disclosure of information associated with a proposed amendment. Such disclosure forestals speculation and allays any fears. The critical and key information to support the proposed amendment is a schedule showing the proposed 55 additional elected seats or constituencies. The bill should have included this schedule. It is my hope that your committee's report, Chairperson, will include a schedule showing the 55 constituencies to further inform the debates in the House. I move, Chairperson, to Article 13 and 14 of the bill, proposed amendment to Article 116 and 117 of the Constitution of Zambia, Amendment Act Number 2 of 2016. My proposal, and I've made this proposal to previous constitutional commissions, is that cabinet ministers and provincial ministers should be appointed from outside of the National Assembly. The rationale for this proposal, Chairperson, is manifold, and I want to itemize the justifications. There is need for us, Chairperson, to promote the principle of separation of powers among the three branches of government: the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. As per the report of the Mungomba Commission, Constitutional Review Commission, and I must say that I made a submission to that commission, the primary role of members of parliament, members of parliament should not clamor, and if I recall very well, I use that term as well, for ministerial positions. You don't come to parliament to want to become a minister, and so you cannot hold the executive accountable. You will not be objective in your submissions in parliament because you want to please the executive arm of government. You want to become a minister. So you will not criticize the minister, even if you come from the same political party. It's not possible that you can agree on everything. Even twins, identical twins for that matter, will not agree on every issue. Their primary role, or the primary roles of MPs, according to the Mungomba report, is to make laws, represent their constituents, and as people's representatives, hold the executive accountable on behalf of the people. The appointment of cabinet and provincial ministers may promote regional balancing of ministerial appointments. Let's respect our regional diversity. All right. Imbalances in appointments to institutions of government can cause problems. I suppose, Chairperson, that every region of this country has produced enough experts that can be appointed to ministerial positions at cabinet and provincial levels. In the same vein, through the appointment of ministers from outside the National Assembly, we can achieve gender parity in cabinet and provincial ministerial appointments. What are the implications of this proposal? The following, Chairperson, are the implications of the proposal. The dissolution of Parliament will not affect the operation or existence of the executive arm of government, as cabinet and provincial ministers would not be members of Parliament. Within the spirit of enhancing and upholding the separation of powers among the branches of government, the President should not nominate any of the members of the National Assembly. To do what? To do what? To vote in favor of the executive? No. Why do we need nominated members of parliament in parliament? We don't need that. We should understand why this in the first place was there. To allow the President to appoint some people that would become ministers. So let's bring them in as nominated members. But if we appoint ministers from outside of the National Assembly, these nominations will be redundant. Thus, I propose the deletion of the proposed Article 68E and total repeal and replacement of Article 69 of the Constitution. The new Article 69 should explain how the repealed Article 68 clauses B, C, and D will be implemented if we do not want to leave everything to be determined by other pieces of legislation. I'm talking about the women that will come into Parliament through proportional representation, the youth, and persons with disability. The Constitution should include a requirement that appointments to cabinet and ministerial positions by the President should be vetted and ratified by the National Assembly, because the National Assembly comprises people that represent all the people out there. I move, Chairperson, to Article 20 of the bill, which seeks to amend Article 76(3), thereby reducing the years of experience of a person who can be appointed to the position of Secretary to the Cabinet. Chairperson, the proposed amendment must be dropped. Let me say that from the outset. If an adjustment to Article 76 is required, it should relate to the appointment of the Deputy Secretaries to the Cabinet. Who should deputize for the Secretary to the Cabinet? Currently and previously, we have two Deputy Secretaries to the Cabinet. One in charge of administration, the other one in charge of finance and economic development. Their appointment is not clearly spelled out in the Constitution, apart from the mention in Article 221(2), which is the establishment of the Civil Service Commission. The following are the justifications for this proposal. First of all, why do we want to do it? All right. It entails not only, for me, it entails not only shifting the goalposts, but widening the goalposts and raising the crossbar to allow more goals. The game of football or soccer, as some people would refer to it, would be boring. The position of Secretary to the Cabinet is such a high position that we should not compromise on the basis of requirements in terms of qualifications and experience of any person that should be appointed to that position. I ask myself a question: what do you want to achieve by lowering the requirements for appointing the head of the civil service? What do you want to cure? Does the panacea lie in diluting the requirements? For me, Chairperson, the fundamental problem does not lie in this article, in Article 176(3). In my opinion, the fundamental problem lies in the politicization of the civil service. We need to depoliticize the civil service, and the beginning point is to amend Article 184, where permanent secretaries are appointed by the President.
Well, Order Witness, you may need to summarize your submission.
This is the last but one article. All right. Like the chief administrator of the judiciary, who is appointed by the Judicial Service Commission, permanent secretaries must be civil servants who should be appointed by the Civil Service Commission. Permanent secretaries should be engaged on 5-year contract terms, and their retention should be based on performance, whose measurements should be rigorous. We cannot afford to have persons without any civil service or public service experience to become permanent secretaries in ministries, departments, or provincial. With this proposal, Chairperson, it will be very easy for us to have a pool of people from whom we can appoint secretaries to the Cabinet, because PSCs will not rely on who comes in or who goes out as President of the Republic. My last contribution, Chairperson, is Article 16 of the bill, which seeks to amend Article 153 of the Constitution. This is election of councillors, position of councillors, and tenure. Composition of councillors and tenure. Chairperson, I have found it difficult to understand why members of Parliament should be members of the councils. If it is about CDF, the roles of members of Parliament in CDF, according to the CDF guidelines, are crystal clear, and I attempt to describe them below. Members of Parliament shall nominate selected members of the Constituency Development Fund Committee to be appointed by the Minister as prescribed by the Act. Members of Parliament will receive quarterly reports and returns from the local authority. Members of Parliament will undertake joint spot monitoring of CDF projects, and members of Parliament will be a member of the Constituency Development Fund Committee. What more do we need? Why should members of parliament go to? But beyond this, I'm asking what value add will be achieved by adding members of parliament to the composition of the council. Clause 153(5) of the current constitution can be used to have members of parliament participate in council meetings, albeit as non-voting members. For ease of reference, Article 53, Clause 5 states as follows: a council may invite a person whose presence is, in its opinion, desirable to attend and to participate in the deliberation of the councils, but that person shall have no vote. In addition, I see a conflict on the part of the members of parliament. This stems from Article 156 of the Constitution, which states that, and I quote, councillors shall be collectively and individually accountable to the national government and residents in their wards and districts for the performance of their functions. Now I'm asking myself, why would honorable members of parliament, who should hold the executive accountable on behalf of their representatives, want to be held accountable by the same executive branch they should hold accountable? No, I don't think that will be okay. I therefore, Chairperson, propose that the proposed additional members of parliament to the composition of the councils should be dropped from the bill. In conclusion, Chairperson, let me say that constitutional amendments and reforms are an inevitable occurrence of any governance process and must not be demonized irrespective of their source or initiator. Lest we forget, Article 92(2)(1) of the Constitution Amendment Act number 2 of 2016 empowers the President of the Republic to initiate bills for submission to and consideration by the National Assembly. Public consultations on reforms are critical to the process of amending and or reforming the Constitution and other laws, because these laws are instituted for the good of the people. Laws promote fairness, justice, and the rule of law. Finally, as I stated with my submission, I started with my submission, I wish to end by saying that democracy and constitutional democracy are key pillars of a peaceful, united, and prosperous nation. Allow me, Chairperson, to end here and ask God, the Almighty, to bless our republic and all of its people. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Diwali, for your submission. We will allow 3 interventions, then we can proceed. Honorable Daka, then Honorable Nakoka.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Witness, you have brought a very important element on delimitation, where you have put a price tag to the introduction of the extra constituencies. Witness, I want you to elaborate much more if you took time to conduct a cost-benefit analysis to this decision that is in the proposed amendment, because you can't only talk about cost without looking at the benefits. Because my rough estimate here, I was doing the calculation as you are giving me yours, against the $25 million, the gains in introducing the extra 55 constituencies is about $100 million. So you are talking about a cost of $25 million against $100 million. So to me, the tilt is for the benefit of the people. The people are going to get $100 million benefit against the cost of $25 million that you have indicated in your calculation. I haven't analyzed your calculation, how you came about your calculation, but I've calculated the gains just using one angle, the CDF. Citizens are gaining 100 million against a 25 million. So don't you think it's quite appropriate that this thing, since it's benefiting citizens more than the cost involved, that it should be done? I submit, Chairperson.
Okay, witness take note. Honorable Nakoka.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick one, Mr. Liwali. The proposal that members of the executive cabinet, that is, must be drawn from outside Parliament is something we've heard quite a few times. Is it something that is actually anchored in reality, or it's nice fantasy that people assume that it actually increases so-called oversight over the executive? Because even in those situations, those people will still be appointed from within the rank and file of the party that wins the government. Happens in America, where it even extends to judges of the highest courts. So, is this something we think once it's done would cure all our oversight ills, or it's something we are just wishing for, yet we have no practical demonstration of where it has actually worked? Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Liwali, you may make your submission.
Thank you so much. The benefits that we are talking about in my submission, Chairperson, I said if the benefits outweigh the costs, I'm okay with that. I know our focus now is CDF, all right, because we are saying a large constituency now getting 40 million kwacha. If it's divided into two, then you'll get 80 million kwacha. That's a simple arithmetic that is there. But you see, how do we inform our CDF projects? Are they based on some detailed constituency development, where we have a constituency development plan and we go there, or as and when people know that there is this money, this come up this? But you see, if that's a simple arithmetic that we are talking about, then the benefits outweigh the cost. Then I have no problem with that. All right, but we have to look at that. Can we still achieve this development without increasing the number of the number of constituencies? All right. So that would be my comment to that. But then when we come to the issue of oversight, you know, yes, these members might be appointed within the rank and file of a political party, but the Constitution also at the moment does not stop the President from appointing members of the opposition to cabinet, as long as they are members of Parliament. All right. But the point is, Honourable Member, you mentioned the US. It's happening in the US. It's only the Vice President who is the President of the Senate. Congress, the secretaries, there do not belong to Congress or the Senate. No, to the House of Representatives or Senate. No, there is a complete separation of powers. So can Parliament be the true representative of the people and hold the executive accountable? How much time does a cabinet minister have to represent their people effectively when they have to deal with a cabinet portfolio? I think that we have to embrace these democratic principles. The fundamental principle is that of separation of powers. Thank you.
Witness, any closing remarks? We would like to thank you before we proceed. Any closing remarks?
Chairperson, let me say that I support the bill, but with the amendments that the people have put forward, including my own submissions. We need constitutional reforms. A constitution is a key element of constitutional democracy, a key element of democracy. A good constitution would be a good element of our democratic dispensation. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Martin Liwali, and I would like to thank you for appearing before this select committee. And as a private citizen, in your capacity as a private citizen, we do not take your submission for granted. It forms part of our report. Mr. Liwali, I would like to lift the immunity conferred on you, and you are free to go, and we wish you well as a committee. Thank you.
Good afternoon. You're watching Parliament Television, and that is Mr. Martin Iliwali, a member of the public, making a submission to the Parliamentary Select Committee that was appointed to scrutinize the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2025. So the meeting still continues as the members of the Select Committee continue interacting with members of the public. And later on, we expect some members of the public, members of Parliament rather, to make submissions to this Select Committee. So keep watching Parliament Television. Good afternoon. You are watching Parliament Television. Just a short while ago, we had Mr. Martin Iliwali, a member of the public, who was making a submission to the Parliamentary Select Committee that was appointed to scrutinize the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2025. So we continue bringing to you live proceedings of the committee as the Select Committee continues interacting with members of the public, and later on we expect some members of Parliament to make their submission to the Select Committee. So keep watching Parliament Television. Good afternoon.
record you want to introduce yourself, but we do know each other. So that being said, Honorable Member for Chilubi, I'll go straight to confer you with immunity under Cap 12 from prosecution, which you yourself enjoy in Parliament when you make submissions. Witness, you are guided. Our time is constrained. So to try as much as possible to focus on the salient features of your submission. Witness, you are free to make your submission, and our interaction will be capped at 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Chair. Allow me to start with an introduction, which I'll try to be as quick as possible. I do recognize that the Constitution Amendment Bill number 7 intends to touch 22 articles of our Constitution. And out of 22 articles of our Constitution, 8 of them will be repealed and replaced, and the rest would only be amended. And I think I've tabulated in the paper those that are affected. But indirectly, the submission, the bill number 7 also is going to affect other articles of the Constitution, especially from Article 45 to 59. Having said that, Mr. Chairman, I would also like to take recognizance, if your committee allows me, that I know that the content that we are supposed to focus on is the content for the bill. But I also want to say that process justifies the content. In constitutional making process, the means justify the end. I also want to put it on record, Mr. Chairperson, that the process has been in question, especially when it is weighed against Article 1, Article 2, Article 4, Article 5, Article 7, Article 8, Article 9, Article 61, Article 90, Article 118. So the equation, I don't want to call it a nullity, it is still a question because I'm not a court. The equation still remains whether we are dealing with a nullity or not. I proceed, Mr. Chair, to Article 47. Article 47, clause 2, clause 6. This does not comply with the Article 70 of the Constitution. I know that it is introducing a majoritarian system and first past the post for members of Parliament as well as councillors and as it may be the council chairperson and the mayors. Why this does not comply? Because Article 70 talks about qualifications and disqualifications of a member of Parliament. This particular article includes what it is calling a mixed member proportion. And I want to bring to attention that Article 72, clause 70, clause 2A, states that a person who has disability in this particular article does not qualify to be a member of Parliament. And it contradicts this particular article, and it reads in letters, in the actual words, is that that person has a mental or physical disability that would make the person incapable of performing the registration function, and there is no framework to where the incapability associated with disability. We don't have a framework in Zambia yet. So this particular article knocks out the three, and I think further, when you look at the other aspects, the women and the women and the youth, they have also not been weighed to qualify, especially that Article 70 is not one of the articles to be amended by the proposed bill. Article 51, clause 51, as it may be, Article 51, is proposing to replace the word election with nomination. Mr. Chairperson, you need to note that the word nomination is not defined anywhere in our documents. And when you replace, we talk about nomination, when you go for what is defined in Article 266, of the Constitution, which deals with definitions in the Constitution. It talks about an election as an election to the office of the President, election to the office of the National Assembly, or the Councillor, meaning that it positions nomination as an activity of the election. Mathematically speaking, we can say that nomination is a subset of the universal sort called election. And further, Mr. Speaker, I would like to submit, Mr. Chairman, on this one, I would like to submit that Articles the Parliamentary Act number 35 of 2016 does not also offer the definition on nomination, which deals with mainly of constitutional election matters. And further, Article number 25 of which is Electoral Commission Act of number 2016 does not also offer the definition for nomination. So it's very dangerous to use a word in this manner that is not even defined. It is left to the wind, and especially that the elections are a subject of litigation. There are petitions coming out of elections, there are expulsions coming out of elections. So I still maintain that nomination should not replace election. Mr. Chair, number 3, article number 52, this should not be entertained in whatever form, because when you talk about article 52(6), which is among other things proposing that they should not encourage the issue of the member of parliament standing when there is that particular gap, especially when one has withdrawn. This deprives the people of a wider choice. It does not only deprive the people of the wider choice, it defiles Article 45 of the Constitution. And as I already indicated earlier, the articles dealing with the Constitution starts from 45 to 59. So it deprives, because people are supposed to choose what they want. What if the person who has withdrawn is coming from a political party that is popular in that particular area, and the political party should be given the right to choose who should stand and be subjected to elections? And this further also plays with Article 60 of the Constitution. Mr. Chairperson, Article 57 is entertaining an area of where it brings in first past the post, of course, and it is also giving a political party the right to choose a representative when that representative has died or has been expelled. And you know, our politics sometimes can be frictional. It means that it also deprives, I want to repeat this one, it deprives the people of a choice, because you cannot accept expose a representative of the other people in the first instance to first pass the post according to Article 47. Then later on, when this person passes on, he has to be replaced by a choice, possibly of a political president of a political party, who can just make a choice either in Lusaka or anywhere in Zambia to absolve the mandate that people had entrusted through the first past the post. So this one is equally in conflict with Article 60 as it may be. Article 58, Mr. Chairperson, the proposed amendment is narrow, and I think what is important is to maintain the wording as it is in the current Constitution. I go to Article 68, Mr. Chairperson. The selection of the 35 will be problematic, Mr. Chairperson. The proposed article which is also supported by 47 as the electoral system, is in a way vague, because it is presuming that Zambia shall learn 2 parallel voting systems, where the electoral commission after the elections have to come up with another voting system which is not approved by the people, and that deprives the people of the choice. And I think when you follow this properly, it further talks about the issue of the constitution shall encompass 211 constituencies. As far as I'm concerned, Mr. Chairperson, we have 156 constituencies that are in the current constitution, but the other 55, we don't know the geographical position where they are, because we have not been availed with a delimitation exercise report. As it was, I would allow me, Mr. Chairman, to give an example. Prior to 2021 elections, we had the delimitation report released in 2019, which had 94 constituencies which were supposed to be electable, and those 94 constituencies, everybody knew where they were. When the bill, which was referred to as Bill 10, came on the floor, every member of parliament who was arguing knew where those constituencies are. As far as we are concerned, this is a very bad practice for democracy, because these 55 constituencies remains a secret, and there is no way one can come up with a number 55 without knowing where that number is coming from. And I think we need to be told the fact here. You can't come up that we have got 10 fish, or we have got 10 spaces. There would have been a criteria at which those 10 places were reached at. It remains a secret, and that's a very big gap. Mr. Chairperson, allow me to go to Article 72. I think Article 72H especially should be maintained in its current form, because removing the interference of the Constitutional Court means that which is an apparent court in this standing, the petitions that we deal with when we are petitioned as members of parliament start with possibly High Court, and then Constitution is the Constitutional Court currently is pari passu with the Supreme Court. When the petition reaches the Constitutional Court, it is final, and it's the one which makes a decision. Mr. Chairperson, for reference, you can read Articles Article 72, Clause 5 and 6, which talks about when a member of parliament is expelled. It is the Constitutional Court that confirms. And removing 72H will mean that the Constitution, we are going to leave a legal void of how to deal with that particular question, which is not in line with a democracy. Mr. Chairperson, allow me to go to Article 73. I think Article 73 should be maintained as it is in the Constitution, because it supplements Article 72H. The articles in the Constitution are not read in isolation. They supplement each other, and there is no way you can just uproot one article and leave the others in a skeleton. So that is my argument, that this should be maintained. The Article 81. Article 81 conflicts with a lot of things, and I think Article 81 invites a lot of problems in a democracy, as it may be. And I think especially clauses 3 and 4, it conflicts with the current electoral calendar. We have an electoral calendar which has been released, which we would like to take as official. Apart from that electoral calendar, which is having a lot of activities around May, this requires that the choices of members of parliament who may desire to stand as independents is already stage managed, because these members of parliament will require to actually step down by February for them to meet these particular requirements, which may cause a problem. And how does this become a problem? It becomes a problem because the same amendments are speaking to a fact that a member of parliament will remain in hibernation for 90 days, not being active in parliament, but they will still be called a member of parliament. But parliament in technical terms will be dissolved a day before an election, which is the second Thursday of August. And given the electoral calendar which has been released, this preempts and disadvantages electoral choices of the people, as well as those that may desire. standing for elections is a right for every Zambian, and choosing political party is accommodated under the article talking about association. So this is against the freedom of association. It is against equally many freedoms, as it may be. Maybe the conclusion, Mr. Chair, as a matter of wrapping up.
Order witness. Honorable Sefula, what's your point of order?
Chair, the witness that is on the floor of the House, we really appreciate his submissions, but we are kindly asking if he can just reduce just the volume a little bit, because of the mic, the volume is quite loud. I know that he speaks quite well, and but the voice it's a little bit loud. It's not meant in any way being harmful or in any way being I'm just malicious. I'm just asking if you can just reduce the volume a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I hope that I'll adjust my vocal cords. Yes. As I conclude, I have a general concern. The affected articles have a spillover effect on a lot of pieces of legislation, which time may not allow me to mention, but I think of great importance is articles, the Electoral Process Act number 35 of 2016 and the Electoral Commission Act number, because it gives some of the powers which are not defined in the Electoral Commission Act to the Commission to do, and it has lifted some of the responsibilities of courts and given them to the Electoral Commission, meaning that there must be surgery or amendment on these two pieces of registration. And having said that, I think reading from Articles 49 to 59, 45 to 59, it will be a misnomer to amend these articles without attending to these other articles that are left as skeleton. Meaning, we should amend from 45 to 59 so that they are in tandem to speak to those articles that I may just call that they are election-centric articles, which are election-centric because many of them are speaking to that. I am also of a considered view, Mr. Chairperson, that this exercise, looking at my submissions and a lot of things that it is going to affect, would have needed more time. Also bearing in mind that as we stand, this exercise started with a bill. It did not start with an inquiry triggered by the president, and either using Inquiries Act or Article 92, where the N.A.B committee of Senate, it can be a commission or technical committee, was supposed to be sent to consult the people. And after consulting the people, Mr. Chairperson, we expected that after the report, there would have been some sort of winsaka, which you can call Constitutional Amendment Assembly or National Constitution or whatever you can call it, like it was called National Dialogue Conference Forum.
Order.
So,
order.
Okay.
Chairperson, the witness was winding down his presentation, and now he is questioning the origination of the process to which he has submitted. As a representative of the people who is actually participating in the process now, is he in order to participate in the process nicely, and as part of the consultation is bringing the views of the people of Chilubi? Now he is saying this whole process that has allowed him to participate is problematic. Is he in order to nullify the process that he is actually participating in?
Witness, you are guided. The bill is rightfully before Parliament.
okay.
Anything outside Parliament does not attract our mandate. So you are guided to stick to your submission. However, I take note that you've concluded.
I was about to conclude.
Can you give your conclusion?
Okay. Chairperson, I was addressing the question of time frame, and so that the issues are properly exhausted. Given the things that I've taken into consideration, I feel that a good number of proposed clauses do not stand well with Articles 9, which raised Article 8, which raised down the national values, and Article 9, especially of Clause 1, which talks about how we should interpret the Constitution and how the courts, the judiciary, and the legislature should use time to do that. And my concluding remark, Mr. Chairperson, is that it is my considered view that we bear in mind Article 79, which will talk about second reading and also third reading, as getting involved with members of parliament as it may be, because a constitution amendment is not an ordinary amendment. If I had all the powers, I would have asked the executive, who are the sponsors of the bill, to withdraw the bill. I end here, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you, witness, for your submission. Honorable Kambita.
My first question is a bullet one. Honorable Member for Chilubi.
Yes.
Of course, submitting to this committee in your capacity as a Member of Parliament, Mulenga Fube, MP. Do you know that a single Member of Parliament can move a motion to amend an article in a constitution? Yes or no?
Yes, I know.
Yes.
Even the president can move a bill.
Yes, that being settled, then, if a process like this, having 13 substantive objects to amend the constitution and emanating from a process where the president pronounced himself in an address to the nation through this same parliament, where it was flagged that there were non-contentious issues that would be approached that would need amendment, how would you then find that inappropriate and find itself to be illegal?
Witness, take note. Take note. You are having 3 questions. Honorable Mungandu.
Thank you, Chair. I think that feedback is because of the witness, the way he was talking. Chair, I want to find out 2 points of clarifications from the witness. Article 51, where he talked about the definition of the nomination. Then Article 52, where he's saying let the people, that was because this article was attempting to avoid by-elections in an event of resignation, death, and indeed expulsion. The witness is saying this power belongs to the people. Witness, my first question is, should these articles be amended according to your concerns? What would be your take? Because you are recommending that these should remain the way they are. And indeed, government listens and they amend and leave them the way they are. What would be your take? Then the final one. Witness, are you aware of the many other constitutional review commissions which this country has undertaken, beginning probably before you and I were born? Mungomba Constitutional Review Commission, the Manakatwe Constitutional Review Commission, and many others. Did you take time to read their recommendations vis-a-vis in relation to the proposed amendments? I know your argument has been time and consultation, which is beyond this committee. But have you read to compare? And if you've done, did you find any relations between what is being amended and what those several committees in the past have recommended? I submit, Chair.
Witness, as you respond, also take note, I've taken note of your submission that you made reference of Article 70D, which says, subject to this clause, a person is eligible to be elected as a member of parliament if that person D has, a person is disqualified from being elected as a member of parliament if that person D has a mental or physical disability that would make the person incapable of performing the legislative function. Now, witness, you are saying that this article contradicts the introduction of mixed member proportional representation. So, how does it contradict when it says that physical disability should be to the extent that you cannot execute your legislative function? Not just a physical disability, but to the extent that you cannot execute this function. Could you please attend to those?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. The Constitution, as I said, you can't read it in isolation. You have to read it in coordination. This current Constitution, as amended by in 2016, does not, I mean, in terms of binding, is not including 79 and the Bill of Rights. And in looking at the articles we are looking at, we should not forget that Article 79 and the Bill of Rights is still part of our laws. And bearing that in mind, we need to also realize that when we want to interpret whether something is illegal or it's in national interest or not, Article 9(1) speaks for itself. I know that I'm facing my fellow members of parliament who are aware of the national values, among them morality, ethics, patriotism and national unity, democracy and constitutionalism, human dignity, equity, social justice, equality, non-discrimination, good governance, integrity, and sustainable development. Article 9, clause 1 says, the national values and principles shall, it's mandatory, apply to the interpretation of this very constitution. Number B, enact shall apply to enactment and interpretation of the law, meaning that any law that we are applying or interpreting should be subjected to the national values as a scale, as a measure, as a yardstick. Number C, development and implementation of state policy, meaning things, instruments like its National Development Plan and the others. Then, Mr. Chairperson, answering the same question on illegality, allow me to say that I cannot venture into each and particular due to time. I can refer the committee to reading the alteration that should happen on the Constitution. This is not an ordinary bill, but the Constitution in itself has laid down in Article 79 of how a Constitution is supposed to be changed, whether it is through a bill by a member of parliament, whether it is through the president or anyone. But the Constitution, apart from all the bills that we deal with, has its own way of changing and altering the Constitution. And that way is only, from where I stand, is only found in Article 79. Other people can educate me. That's how far I can go on this particular one, Mr. Chairman. Coming to the issue of nominations, Mr. Chairperson, I did say that the word nomination should not replace elections. And why I said that is because election is wider, and the nomination is just a process or a stage in arriving at elections. And this particular bill is proposing to replace a broader term with a narrower term. And this term, Mr. Chairperson, I'm afraid is not found in any of our laws as defined. And Mr. Chairperson, I qualified that since this term is not defined in any of the laws that are dealing with elections, it is dangerous, especially that elections are a subject of litigation if we go to court and if they say what is a nomination, because the definitions currently talks about what is a nomination paper. It talks about nomination center. That's what it talks about 3 things to do with nomination. But nomination itself is not defined, Mr. Chairperson. And this is where I have a problem, that we cannot replace a stage in a process with the process itself. That's where I had the problem. Coming to the issue of the people, Mr. Chairperson, I need to bring into our attention that the issue of the people is well defined in the Constitution. It starts with the preamble, which talks about we the people, giving ourselves a constitution. Apart from a preamble, Mr. Chairperson,
summarize your response. No?
Yes, Mr. Chairperson, Article 60, 90, and 118, where the 3 arms of government are tabulated, they start with the people. That the powers of the judiciary are with the people, the powers of legislature is with the people, the powers of executive is with the people. So it's from there that I got. Am I aware that about the other reports, Mr. Chairperson, I was the chairperson for a coordinating committee which was called Youth Coordinating Committee, and I used to release a newspaper specifically on the Constitution when I was in the civil society. And I have read in full the Mvunga Commission report. I have read in full the Mungomba Commission report. I have read in full the Mwanakatwe Commission report. And some of the articles that are appearing, some of the proposals that are appearing, have appeared but not tailored in the same way as it may be. That is what I can say. I know that there's article Couple 12, and I need to stick to the truth. They are not in the same wording. They have distantly referenced to these factors that are in Bill 7 with the past commissions, but they are not exactly talking about this. Coming to 70D, Mr. Chairperson, which you asked, and why I said it contradicts. For Article 47 is proposing that we change our electoral system, and it should accommodate mixed members. Mixed members, among them is 20 women, among them is 15, is 12 youths, and among them is the issue of disabled. If you go to the definition of disability, which is in Article 266, it says a definition of disability is accommodated in Article 266 in the Constitution. It means permanent physical, mental, intellectual, sensory impairment that alone or in combination with the social or environmental barriers hinders the ability of a person to fully and effectively participate in an activity or perform a function or specified in this Constitution as prescribed. Meaning, this definition of what is called disability, and we want to include 3 disabilities. Currently, Mr. Chairperson, this Constitution discriminates them through 70D, because 70D says that this particular group, which has a definition in the Constitution, does not qualify to be part of, but when it comes to an article talking on the nomination, I think it's 69, which is talking about the age who should be nominated. It talks about embracing. Article 259 also talks about accommodating the disabled. But this particular definition and the 70D with the inclusion of the 3 disabled, currently, if it's not amended, if the definition in 266 is not amended, and the portion of 70D is not amended, and which is not, this bill is proposing these 2 amendments, it stands a disqualification of the disabled.
Witness, thank you for your submission before this committee. We would like to lift the immunity, which you already enjoy when you are executing your functions as a member of parliament, and we do not take your appearance for granted. It shows the seriousness you attach to the legislative processes as a member of parliament. On behalf of the people of Chilubi, we thank you.
I'm greatly humbled, Mr. Chair.
Making his submission to the Parliamentary Select Committee that has been appointed to scrutinize the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2025. So submissions will continue from members of Parliament as well as members of the public. And later on we expect the Minister of Justice to make a submission to the Select Committee. So keep watching Parliament Television.
Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Christmas.